What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. Look, nobody would ever sit up here and deny that Kevin Durant is one of the great players of his era and one of the great scorers in the history of the NBA. But the more I hear some of these NBA players from today talk about the game from a historical perspective, the more I'm convinced that just because you play the game doesn't mean that you know in depth or even care about doing the research to educate yourself about the greatness of players of the past. So Pat Bev, on his podcast, they were talking about Kevin Durant and Larry Bird, and they were comparing the two. And Pat Bev said that he would pick Kevin Durant over Larry Bird and said that it wasn't even close, and that Kevin Durant would average 50 points per game in the 1980s. 50 points a game.
Would you put Kevin Durant or Larry Bird higher in your all-time top 10?
Yeah, I don't think it's close. KD, what are we talking about?
I mean, we're talking about Larry Bird, one of the best players of the entire decade of the 80s. A guy who has like a lot of championships. A guy who played really good defense. A guy who was loyal to his squad and was an incredible shot maker, incredible playmaker. And if he was playing in today's game, would have probably burned it for 6 to 9 threes a game.
And if Kevin Durant was playing when Larry Bird was playing, he would average 50.
Nobody was averaging 50.
Kevin Durant would have been.
I mean,
who you going to put on him? Back then, who you go? The four. Your four was like traditional fours.
Well, I'm talking about the 80s. I'm talking about they wouldn't have. I don't know what they would have put on him. They would have put hands on him. They would have fought him in the 80s.
You think?
I don't think it's sweet, but I'm just saying.
This is the thing I don't think older players and younger players understand. Right? If the game was more physical, what you think? Us is like nowadays hoopers, we would just go like, oh fuck it, I quit. Like, nah, motherfucker, we was gonna find a way. Okay, cool. We was gonna change. We're smart enough. Our IQ is high enough that we can, okay, cool, they playing physical. Okay, cool. I gotta do this. Like, what makes people think that if the physicality had changed, that players now couldn't play then? Like we were just die. Like, okay, cool. Steph couldn't play in this era because it was too physical. No, he found a way to be successful, just like he's finding a way to be successful at 37 years old, 36 years old, all the way down till he got drafted. Like, motherfucker, we'll find a way.
You know that Larry Bird was the original cold white boy.
Yeah, for sure. And I know all the stories, Pat. Like, motherfucker, like you put black dudes on him.
He's
Larry
disrespected.
Bird was disrespected. You better get this white boy on me. You better put your black man on me. Like, I understand that, right? I understand that. But when you talk about a handle at that size, ability to play pick and roll, on the other end, his ability to rim protect and get blocks. What you mean? It's Kevin Durant. Like, what do you say? Come on, man, I'm Kevin Durant.
Oh boy, man, this is some silly shit here, bro. I swear, man. I swear, this is why I don't. First of all, how is he gonna average 50? See, this is what I don't like about. This is why I don't like about this type of buffoonery, because the 3-point shot wasn't implemented like that back then. Especially we talking about before 1987, 88. Like, teams were taking, I would say at the most, some teams were taking 5 to 6 threes. As a team, there were some teams that was taking less than 2 on average, especially before the 85, 86 period. So what are you talking about? The game style is totally different. So he's not bombing away from 3. So that's going to reduce his point total. So if a guy's making, this is the point that the white boys trying to make to Pat Bev. If you put Steph in the 80s, if you look at how many points Steph averages now, right? Steph averages 26 points a game. Let's put like 24 to 25, 26 points a night, right? But if he's making, let's go 5 to 6 3-pointers a night. In the 80s, you're taking that away. So now his scoring average drops because he's not really shooting a lot of threes. It goes from 25, 26 to 21. Plus, it's going to be more physical. So guess what? His efficiency goes down. Oh, he's going to fight through it, but his numbers aren't going to look the same. That's the point people keep trying to make these goddamn clowns. Pat Bev, does he comprehend that they're not going to play the same way in the 80s? So no, Kevin Durant's he's not going to get off enough shots. First of all, he doesn't go out of his comfort zone now. He doesn't do it now. The fuck make you think he's going to do it in the 80s? I'm going to tell you what Kevin Durant would be. Kevin Durant would be a bigger version of George Gervin. That's what I think he would be. A more pussy-ass version of George Gervin, I might add, who, on certain teams, he's going to drop 30 plus a night. On other teams, the physical teams, he's going to disappear at times. Because, you know, the difference between George Gervin and the other all-time greats is that George Gervin, against great defenses, could be stopped. At times, he could be stopped. I mean, when you look at it, George Gervin had his biggest nights on bad teams, on mediocre teams. I'm just being honest. Michael Jordan, on the other hand, of his 39 career 50-point games, including the playoffs, 23 of them came against top 10 ranked defenses, and that's the difference. Kevin Durant ain't built like those guys, man. And then you talking about his exceptional ball handling ability. Have you noticed that when he goes up against top-ranked defenses, especially perimeter defenses, a lot of those guys be picking his pocket like a motherfucker, like the Boston Celtics a couple of years ago, when he was averaging, 6 turnovers a game? And another thing, I've said this before, another startling indictment on this era. Do you know that Kevin Durant averages more points per game and is more efficient since his Achilles rupture? That's an indictment on this era. I've said it before. This is the easiest era to score, perhaps in the history of the NBA. Do we really believe that DeMar DeRozan will be a 25,000, 26,000 point per game, 25,000, 26,000 point scorer in the 80s and 90s? James Harden is probably going to exceed 30,000 points in his career. I don't see him putting those numbers up 20, 25 years ago. Larry Bird was a better rebounder. Larry Bird was a far better passer. And people keep talking about Kevin Durant, 6'11". Bird was 6'10". And didn't have the greatest of hops. Kevin Durant's career average is what? 27 points, maybe something around 7 rebounds, and maybe 3.5 assists, 4 assists. Bird, 24, 10 and 6. And he played with Robbie Parrish, and he played with Kevin McHale. Bird was also far more clutch than Kevin Durant. Bird also was on par with Kevin Durant as a free throw shooter, and by the percentages at least, a 3-point shooter. And I think he'd be on par with Kevin Durant as far as shooting percentages and all of that in today's game. And that's what defense is keying on Larry Bird. But let's not even talk about the numbers. This is what's most important. Kevin Durant couldn't do a motherfucking thing when he was with the Thunder. But get knocked out of the playoffs all the fucking time. He had to run to the team that eliminated him, the Golden State Warriors. Then he started winning on an overpowered team. Then, when he left that team and went to the Brooklyn Nets to try to form another super team, he lost. Went to the Phoenix Suns and lost miserably. Another super team failed. Now he's trying to go to the Rockets and win a championship. Meanwhile, Larry Bird joins a Celtic team that only won 29 games, I believe, the year before he got there. They improved by 32 fucking wins. He wins Rookie of the Year over Magic fucking Johnson. The Celtics won 3 championships during his reign, right? Then, when he retires, the Boston Celtics instantly become a mediocre to terrible franchise for 15 fucking years until Danny Ainge, Bird's teammate, was able to build a big three and get a championship. Bird never had to campaign for teammates to join him or conspire with other people to build a championship. And by the way, when Kevin Durant left the Thunder, many media prognosticators said that they weren't going to win 30 games. Russell Westbrook led them to 47 wins. And that never gets brought up. Never gets brought up. When Bird was injured during the 88-89 season, Boston went from an NBA Finals contender to getting swept in the first round by the Detroit Pistons. And that's with Parrish and McHale there. So stop acting like Larry Bird was always, don't get me wrong, Parrish and McHale helped him, but Bird was the glue to that fucking team. It's the reason why Larry Bird is held in such high esteem. It's the reason why people think Larry Bird is the greatest small forward. I don't give a fuck about numbers. But if you want to be technical about it, Larry Bird be putting up Nikola Jokic numbers if he was playing today. Nikola Jokic numbers, period. And a better defender. Anyway, that's all I got to say about it. Tell me what you guys think. And by the way, Pat Bear wouldn't even be in the NBA in the 80s. I just got to put that out there. He would be in, what was it, the CBA? He'd be in the CBA if he was playing back then. Pat Bear wouldn't even be in the fucking NBA.